Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 102 of Cameron Sports Podcast. It's your host here, Cameron Lindsay, and I'm back here with a brand new episode. Today's episode, I'm going to be making my schedule prediction for the Oregon Ducks 2025 season. I mentioned in a previous episode that I'm going to be doing predictions for each conference: Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, ACC, the Power Four. Do each conference, each teams. Now, starting with the Big Ten. And I decided to start with Oregon's schedule. So let's get right into it. So as far as those who are college football fans, the head coach of the Oregon Ducks is Dan Lanning. Now Dylan Gabriel is gone. He's off to the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. He was selected in the third round, and he's fighting for a roster spot with the Cleveland Browns and potential starting quarterback. Now, last year, Dylan Gabriel and Donte Moore both transferred to Oregon. Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, Donte Moore from UCLA. Now, out of high school, Donte Moore was previously committed to Oregon, but he decommitted and committed to UCLA, spent the year there, and transferred to Oregon. He backed up Dylan Gabriel last season. I think he's, like I said, I watched their spring game. He played okay, not a whole lot, but I do expect Donte Moore to be the starting quarterback for the Oregon Ducks this fall, this August. Last year they did win the Big Ten. Now, before the season started, I didn't really expect them to win the Big Ten in their first year, but they did. They had a really good season. Like I said, Dan Lanning is a very, very good coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, but he's very good, especially in recruiting. They've been killing in recruiting as of late. Especially their 2025 class with they got the number one receiver, DeCorian Moore from Duncanville High School, and they got Naeem off their number one corner in the ESPN 300. Naeem Offord, he decommitted from Ohio State and signed with Oregon, so they got two top five players in the 2025 class that should be able to contribute to Oregon this season, especially DeCorian Moore. Now, they really going to need DeCorian Moore to contribute to the football team because their number one receiver, Evan Stewart, tore his patellar tendon and will miss the entire 25-26 season. So they're going to need, DeCorian Moore, five-star receiver, to really step up. They're going to need other players on that team to step up with the number one receiver out due to injury that happened during the offseason. Now, like I said, Oregon did have a really good season. They won it, like I said, they won the Big Ten. They made the college football playoff, but they lost to Ohio State in the second round of the college football playoff. I think I said it during last year's playoff run that I had Oregon beating Ohio State during the regular season, but I predicted Ohio State would beat Oregon in the Big Ten championship. Now, Ohio State didn't make the Big Ten championship due to the fact that they did lose to Oregon and Michigan during the regular season. Now, Ohio State ended up getting their revenge in the Rose Bowl during the college football playoff. Jeremiah Smith, the best player in the country, the best wide receiver in the country, went off. They could not guard him at all, and Ohio State ran up on Oregon all day during that game. It was not even close. It was like 21-0, like in a blink of an eye. It was real bad. But yeah, let's get right into the schedule. I want to get right into Oregon's schedule. Now, week one, most teams start with a cupcake, basically, how the NFL does, preseason before the regular season. So, you're gonna have a couple schools where they should be able to run through. Their week one, they play Montana State at home. I got them winning that. Now, could they take Montana State lightly like they did last year? I think they played Idaho. I forgot who they played week one. They kind of took them lightly a little bit, and their offense started off slow. But I think Oregon should be able to handle Montana State at home. Donte Moore, I hope, should be able to have a good game, so I'm going to give them the win. Week two, they play Oklahoma State at home. Now, Oklahoma State was awful last year. I like Mike Gundy. He's a good coach for Oklahoma State, been there for years, a former player there. But I just don't think the Oklahoma State is going to be very good at all. This probably could be his last year at Oklahoma State. Because, they were awful last year. I really don't expect too much out of Oklahoma State. this year either. So I gave that the win. I gave Oregon a win over Oklahoma State. Week 3, they're at Northwestern. Northwestern, yeah, they get a new football stadium, but is that gonna really make you play better necessarily? No. I'm gonna give them the win right there on the road against Northwestern. Week 4, they got Oregon State at home, the Civil War. I'm gonna give them the win there. I know Malik Murphy transferred from the former Texas quarterback, Duke quarterback. He transferred from Duke to Oregon State. They may be improved at quarterback, but I'm gonna give Oregon the win, and that would improve them to 4-0. Now week 5, this is where it gets hard for Oregon. They're at Penn State. Penn State got their quarterback coming back, Drew Aller. They got the best running back tandem in the country with Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. Now they lost receivers, but they did get some in the portal. Now they will lose Abdul Carter. They're by far the best pass rusher, but it seems like Penn State always grooms some defensive players the last couple of years. You know, Michael Parsons, Abdul Carter. So it'll be and they do have AJ Harris, the Georgia transfer from a couple years ago, who went to high school here in Central High School in Phoenix, Alabama. He's looked at to potentially be a possible first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. So they do have some talent on the defensive end. Again, like I said, they got Drew Aller, who's potentially a number 1 overall pick. Looked at to be a high first-round pick at least. So even though I love Oregon, but they are losing a lot of pieces. They do got Mateo Ugangale, a 5-star pass rusher, who'll be a junior this year. He was, a high recruit a couple years ago. He'll be on the defensive side of the ball, but they did lose Evan Stewart. They're going to have to expect a lot out of possibly DeCorian Moore, the 5-star receiver out of Duncanville, freshman. So I'm going to have to give them a loss at Penn State because it's already hard to play at Penn State, how loud that crowd is. I don't know if this game will be if it's at night, it's Penn State all the way. I just don't think Oregon is going to go into Penn State and beat Penn State. Now, I know Oregon beat Penn State in the Big Ten Championship last year, but that's a neutral site game. They had Dylan Gabriel. They had Jordan James and a lot of other players. But yeah, I'm going to give this loss to Oregon, and they'll fall to 4-1. Week 6 is a bye. They'll come after their first bye, week 7, they'll play Indiana at home. I'm going to give them the win there. I know Indiana had a really good season last year. They may be good again this year, but I'm going to give Oregon the win at home against Indiana. At Rutgers, I'm giving it the win. I just watched Rutgers spring game. They got some talent, but I just don't think Rutgers is enough to compete with Oregon. At home against Wisconsin, I'm going to give them the win over at Wisconsin. They got another bye, week 10, week 11. Now, this one I wrote down as trap game maybe here in my notes because Iowa usually has a very good defense. I heard they're going to have be improved on offense. They got a quarterback. I forgot his name. He's looking pretty good from what a few clips that I've seen. So this could potentially be one of 2 trap games I wrote down here in my notes. The first one is at Iowa. But I'm going to decide to give Oregon the win. I'm not confident in it, but I'm going to give Oregon the win right here. So that will be 3-4, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1. This will improve Oregon to 8-1. Like I said, I wrote down as a trap game, so we'll see. Week 12, at home against Minnesota. I'm going to give them the win there. Week 13, at home against USC. I'm going to give them the win there. Now, week 14, last game of the season, they're at Washington. This is a rivalry game also. I wrote down, this is another game, second game, I wrote down as a trap game. Because, like I said, Washington and Oregon, they play each other very close usually. I watched Washington spring game. Also, they got some talent. They look like they could possibly do a little something. And plus, this is, like I said, this is on the road. This potentially could be Oregon's chance to make the Big Ten championship game again. So, I'm not too confident in it because, like I said, again, you have Donte Moore. This will be his first year as a starting quarterback at Oregon. They lost a lot of pieces. They lost their number 1 receiver during the offseason. So, but I'm going to give them the win because Dan Lanning is a better coach. I believe in Dan Lanning. They got elite pass rusher Mateo Ungungale. Donte Moore is projected to be a dark horse Heisman Trophy candidate. I'm excited to see DeCorian Moore, see how he plays. He looked pretty decent a little bit in the spring game. So with that win, that will improve Oregon to 11-1. I got them going 11-1 in 2025 season. Again, like I said, they did lose some pieces during all season, but they added some players on defense. They got Dylan Diamond, a transfer safety from Purdue. Bear Alexander, transfer defensive lineman from USC. Theron Johnson, transfer corner from Northwestern, and Jadon Candy, if I'm pronouncing that right, corner from Ole Miss. Some top elite defensive players they have on their roster. Again, like I said, Mateo Ungungale, high talented junior defensive end who projected to be a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. He's very elite. So, he's by far the best defensive player. You got Tateum Tuatati, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, linebacker. Now they did, like I said again, like they added some players on defense. They also added some players on offense. Those players are Isaiah World, transfer offensive tackle from Nevada. Emmanuel Prenungen, if I'm pronouncing that right, transfer offensive line from USC. Alexander Harkey, transfer offensive line from Texas State. Malachi Hughes, the transfer running back from Tulane. I seen him play. He's very good, so I think he's going to contribute a lot in that Oregon offense from Tulane. Malachi Benson, transfer wide receiver from SFG, Florida State. He could be able to contribute also because due to the fact they lost Evan Stewart during the offseason, so they're going to expect to see him. Jameer Johnson, transfer tight end from Louisville. And, of course, like I said, DeCorian Moore, the freshman 5-star receiver from Duncanville High School in Duncanville, Texas. Now, again, I do got Oregon making the Big Ten championship game. I'm going to say, I got them going 11-1. Now, who as far as they'll face, I think they'll probably face either Penn State or Ohio State. I probably lean more towards Penn State a little bit more because Ohio State, their quarterback situation, like, will it be Julian Sayin? Will it be I forgot the other quarterback's name because I watched their spring game. But, they do got Jeremiah Smith. They do got Carnell Tate. So they got some weapons on the offensive side of the ball. But Ohio State also has lost a lot on defense and offense. So, Mekhi Buka, who's now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's selected in the first round. So they lost him. They lost, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Jack Sawyer. They lost, their quarterback, who's selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting season from Oregon. But, again, like I said, Dan Lanning is a phenomenal coach. I believe in him. He's a very good recruiter. It's the reason why Oregon won the Big Ten in their first year in that conference last year. So I do expect Oregon to be contenders in the Big Ten and to make the college football playoff, most likely. Like I said, again, they had 2 trap games on their schedule, Iowa and Washington. If they can win both of those games, they're making the college football playoff. If they win one of those 2, if they go 10-2, of course, I got them losing to Penn State. But if they go 10-2, I can still see them making the college football playoff, even without making the Big Ten championship game, because Ohio State made the college football playoff without even making the Big Ten championship game. So yeah, if you're an Oregon fan, I got you going 11-1. So we'll see how the season goes, but I definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, I'm doing each conference, Big Ten, SEC, then SEC, Big 12, ACC. I decided to start with Oregon as we're getting close to the college football season. If you want to continue to tune into my episodes, Touchdown with Cam, please make sure to click that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, follow me on all social medias as far as Cameron Sports Podcast as I continue to grow my brand and bring great content and, in different sports to y'all. It's getting close to football season, high school, college, NFL. I'm excited. I know y'all excited, But definitely, I appreciate you always tuning in, and you're very much appreciated from the bottom of my heart to you. I'll catch y'all next time. This has been your favorite host, Cameron Lindsay, signing out, and I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.